What do you think we are getting wrong? What does the research not say that people think it does? A very common belief in the public and even among some educated people is that same-sex sexuality and discordant gender identity are simply biologically determined and can never change. This view has never been scientifically substantiated and does not include professional organization consensus. Even the American Psychological Association it says in its APA Handbook of Sexuality and Psychology that these things are not true. And we know from twin studies that if identical twins among those who have same-sex sexuality, the other twin only has same-sex sexuality among 24% of these identical twins. And among identical twins who have gender dysphoria and are of the same sex, 0% both have gender dysphoria. And virtually none of their siblings do, and only a minority of opposite sex twins both have gender dysphoria. So the theories that biological causes, that identical twins share these biological causes, genes, prenatal hormones, maternal factors, number of older brothers has been hypothesized to be related to a biological factor. The identical twins share these factors and very seldom or usually do not share same-sex sexuality or discordant gender identity. So for these reasons and many more, the belief that people are born gay or trans just are not scientifically established. What are 2 or 3 findings in the research on the issues addressed in this conference that you think practitioners, pastors, and the public need to know? One of these is that when it comes to gender dysphoria, the medical approach that harms bodies has never been found to be more effective or safe than just counseling. First of all, just counseling doesn't harm bodies. That's the obvious one. But also research in leading gender clinics in Europe help us on this. In the gender clinic in the Netherlands, and the study that has become the basis for all the medical interventions that harm bodies of gender dysphoric young people. They found that some of the adolescents were not given the medical interventions because their psychiatric problems were too great. But a 4-year follow-up found that their gender dysphoria significantly decreased. They were given counseling, although not the medical approaches. Their gender dysphoria significantly decreased, and most of them did not regret that they didn't have the medical problems, medical intervention, and the quality of life was not significantly different for those who had the medical interventions and those who didn't. And similarly, in the largest gender clinic in the world, in London, which is no longer open, the Tavistock, they found that those who had just counseling, who had counseling and puberty blockers, were not significantly better off in mental health than those who had just had counseling. So the counseling approach is safer, and there's no evidence the medical approach is more effective or safe. So I think that's a clear benefit for this public to know. And these are some findings that I'm sharing at this clinic, at this conference, based on a 5-year review of research that I just completed this year, and it's available on the IFTC website. It's a critique of the Memorandum of Understanding in the United Kingdom, which has to do with therapy bans. What would you say to people who think there is a conflict between a biblical worldview and science? All truth is God's truth. And so if science is done accurately and well, and it should agree with a biblical worldview. And where it doesn't, I think the biblical worldview has the priority, and it will let us know we need to look further into our scientific understanding, and I believe that we will find that all truth turns out to be God's truth, whether we find it through biblical worldview or by looking at His creation. All truth is God's truth.